Well, we definitely found ourselves in an environment today. Let me tell you, we definitely found ourselves in a new spot today. Let me just let you know. So, Semen del Piso back once again with another video. Today, of course, not only we're gonna keep talking about semen retention, because that's all I talk about, in addition to my travels and whatever else I think about speaking about. But we're going to talk about it in a very interesting aspect. I think that on semen retention, of course, through my channel and various other channels of semen retention, we talk about, yes, semen retention will get you the girls. Yes, semen retention will give you the energy for the gym. Yes, semen retention will get you through life. But life is lived not just as some one long and large step and then you make it to the finish line, no matter what sort of aid you get, whether it be nepotism or semen retention. But rather, life is a series of micro steps. Every day we get closer and closer to our ideal of what success is. In those micro steps, we come across individuals that may or may not resonate with us, but are in our lives for a reason. Sometimes individuals are devoid of this sort of contact, this sort of relationship, or they meet a lot of people that they just don't resonate with, and they just feel very, very alienated, isolated, alone. They sort of go in within, they do like an introspective look on themselves, and they think that maybe it is due to some sort of trauma that was inflicted upon them in the past, right? Due to lack of parental guidance, lack of parental presence, maybe abuse, whatever it may be. But what they do is as interesting, is that they wait until they're older and then they go to see therapy. They go to some therapist, some overpaid individual that has all the time in the world and just sits down and listens and listens and listens and give very, very small sentences of advice in order to help this individual. But the question is, do us retainers, us practitioners of semen retention, do we need therapy? Do we need to see some therapists? Hi, I'm Semen del Piso. This is not a funny matter. This is not funny. It's just, I just think it's interesting. Honestly, it's just made me think a lot. You know, I've been listening to a lot of conversations, I've been talking with a lot of people, and it just, the question popped up, so I figured I might as well make a video about it. Let's discuss this. Like, comment, subscribe, and let's get right into it. Why do semen retention practitioners do not need therapy? Why should they deny therapy? So let me tell you something about being on the semen retention practice for a long time. So when you're on this practice for a while, not only you get the aforementioned testosterone boost, you get social magnetism, as we have discussed with our previous videos of the people of old practicing semen retention or sexual continence and having their benefits, or noticing these benefits thereof, and mental benefits, spiritual connections, all that. In addition to being on semen retention for a long time, you learn to really be grounded. You start making these decisions, and of course, like I always say, after months of being on the practice, I say 2 months minimum, you then start to develop all of these higher tiered benefits of the practice. You start to not only feel very, very grounded, but start to take a proactive approach in slicing and dicing the individuals that sort of don't mean anything to you out of your life. You start to only seek beneficial or advancing company, right? People that are interested in ascension, people that are also not necessarily interested in semen retention, but are interested in other aspects of life that may resonate with you at that present moment due to what the frequency is that you are harnessing in your vessel at that present moment. You start to not only feel confident in your own vessel, in your own skin, but then you start to be introspective about the events that occurred in your life years ago. You start to pick it apart when you're sleeping, right? Or in your subconscious, there is a visiting of these traumatic events, these events that scarred you to some degree, which has effects on your present personality. The energy may be emitted from the practice of semen retention starts to take apart your memories, your sunken, most deeply dug memories, and start making sense and logic out of the events that happen to you. And slowly but surely, as you live your life day by day and the next day and the next day, you are presented with choices and options to take a different turn from the events that from your past that defined who you were up to that point. This is the reason why we do not need therapy. What therapy is, right, are not only these, you're talking to someone that's completely overpaid and underqualified to deal with the idiosyncratic problems and situations of the individuals in this reality, but two, all of our semen retention practices or journeys are completely different, but we are all heading towards the same frequency. We go through our own separate forests, we go through our own separate deserts, and we try to find some sort of oases, gold, treasure, whatever it may be. And we glean something very, very powerful the longer you are on this practice that cannot be found or cannot be given to you by someone else, cannot be told to you by someone else, let alone some cross-legged Oliver's people glasses, Thomas Meyer wearing therapist, right? We don't need to see these individuals. Granted, you might have, maybe a girlfriend really scarred you or made you feel heartbroken. Maybe you were abused by your parents, whatever it may be. Semen retention helps you realize the objective reality. The traumatic events that happened to you in your life are not personal. They didn't happen to you, rather, just because you are who you are, right? The Almighty has ordained it to be so to make you suffer. If that is the plan, then there is only so much you can do about that. Even when you are on semen retention, you understand the objective reality. You realize that, again, it is not personal. Even if that event that was incredibly traumatic and scarring was meant to happen to you in order to make it feel personal. These events, you realize, that are all part of this, are all part of the experience. It's all part of life. It was all part of your life. It was meant to happen in order to get you to a certain point, to carry on life a certain way, your life in a certain way. If you don't believe me, go talk to a therapist and see if they can give you any sort of help. Change comes from within, and semen retention is the ultimate listener. It is the ultimate therapist. This will help you gain energies and an understanding of the objective reality as closely as possible. There is no one else that can give you this information. Rather, the longer you are on your journey, you will receive quotes and sentences and advice from a whole bunch of people that are not necessarily directed to you. But you have to understand that everything that happens to you, even if it's traumatic, it is all part of your personal experience. And it is not, you can't go to some therapist, right, and think that this traumatic experience is going to disappear, right? And then you're suddenly going to be in the land of everyone else, right? You're going to be normal. It is part of our personal experiences. These events were preordained. And to triumph and ascend and sublimate all that traumatic energy, semen retention will help you do that tenfold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold. There is only so much that can be done about the experiences that you've had here. Therapy is not one of them when you're on the practice of semen retention. So that's all I have to say today. If you like that content, like, comment, subscribe, share the video with some peers. I don't even know where I am. I really don't know where I am. I just figured this will be a great backdrop to a video, so I decided to do it. Don't let this place get you down. People will try to band against you and tell you that you are a certain way, or perhaps you need therapy, right? I'm sure I've heard that before, you know what I mean? And I'm sure you guys will hear it the longer you are in this practice, or the longer you get closer to the reality of things, the objective reality. But the reality is that you don't really need it. You don't need therapy. And even if you did take therapy, it will not help you. The only way is to bind with the traumatic experiences that you have and let it work for you. Do not let it scar you and allow you to inflict negativity upon this already very, very negative and basest world. And stay radiant. I shall see you guys in the next one. Woo!